The ultimate all-in-one electric homebrewing system is here. The new Grainfather G40 can produce up to 11 gallons of beer and features all the latest advancements in homebrewing technology, including wireless control so you can monitor your brew day from the Grainfather app. With an innovative new grain basket design that improves workflow, reaching mash efficiencies of 75% or more is easy. The 3300-watt heating element brings your wort to a boil quickly without any scorching, and the large hot plate filter guarantees that no unwanted grain matter or hop chub reaches your fermenter. Every G40 comes standard with a high-powered built-in pump that can handle temperatures over 200 degrees Fahrenheit and a full 3-year warranty that guarantees you'll be able to keep on brewing no matter what. The Grainfather G40 is available now at your favorite homebrew retailer or online at grainfather.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Saving undercarbonated bottles, opening a brewery, kettle size for 5-gallon batches, and a question about CO2 tank recertification. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 285. Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com, click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now you can call or text them in by using 325-305-6107. I am your host, Joshua Stubing. Today I'm joined by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, welcome back to another episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
As soon as I start fading out as soon as I say that, because I think the music is a distraction from the wonderful small talk, the well-reviewed small talk part. No, I always joke about how people hate it, and every time I joke about removing it, I get a flooded inbox. No, don't remove the small talk part. We like it. Don't listen to the 1-star review that happens once a month because you said something stupid about white women or something. Don't listen to it. Yeah, yeah, we've been on a roll. We every week. I don't know if y'all check the reviews across the platforms. When a negative feedback or a 1-star review doesn't come in, I think the next week in our brain subconsciously we're like, let's push it again. Let's just see how far we can.
So I have to tell the story. I just thought of it right just now when you said that. But you know how we're always talking about that's like 15-year-old humor?
Yes.
Well, my nephew was at the barn this weekend with a bunch of his friends, and they're all like 14, 15, 16 age. Yeah. And so I walk in wearing my titties, the shoes that we've talked about many times. And I walk up to they're all sitting on the couch. It's the middle of the day and it's hotter than hell. And I go, hey, any of you guys want to feel my titties?
Oh, no.
And they just looked at me like, oh, my gosh. And I go, no, they're soft and they've got a great feel to them. And then I take my shoe off and show it to them. And they're all like, ah! So, yeah, it's definitely 14-year-old humor.
They thought, oh, my God, Simon has that uncle. Like, we all hear about the creepy uncle. Simon has him. Oh, it's sandals. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, everyone just laugh with the old man. Ha, ha. You messed up.
I actually made all of them fill the shoes. So.
Of course you did.
I'm
Just
surprised.
to make it a little more awkward.
I'm surprised with that generation that they didn't have their cell phones out the second you said "feel my titties." So like, oh, we're recording this and putting it on TikTok, and we're canceling this, man.
I've gotten more jokes out of those shoes. Oh, gosh.
And titties, mytitties.com, TIDDIES. I have a speech impediment. It's tiddies. There you go, James. Thank you.
There you go.
Cheyenne, you're welcome. We have been advertising your sandals for weeks. We need a promo code. I don't even care if they officially sponsor or affiliate. That's what we need. We need an affiliate code. And because we've sent so many people that way. I hope they're buying, Cheyenne, if you're still listening to this show. In the small talk, let's see. James, how is the wheat lager coming along?
I think I may keg it Friday, tomorrow.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, and I
may filter it and keg it.
I bring it up for a couple selfish reasons. I forgot that we had two fermenters there because we're having on Tuesday a special guest. Our buddy Jonathan's coming down from the DFW area. We're going to film. Actually, you know, it doesn't matter if they're available because we're filming at the ranch. Now I got to ask Todd, is your conical, the CF15 at the barn, is it available?
Well, I reached out to you. I don't know if you saw it. I wasn't sure. You said three different things. I didn't understand. Well, we're doing a 15-gallon batch. We're doing a 5-gallon batch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and then one other one, or
no. We're doing
okay, just two. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason we're doing. Go ahead.
So James, I will talk about this on the podcast so everybody can get bored to tears. But I would think maybe we could make something that we could hook up the 5-gallon fermenter and we don't have a coil on the inside, but we talked about making one at one time. That'd be a cool project.
Yeah.
You don't really. What temperature are you going to use?
No, that's what. So the premise, guys, of what we're doing on Tuesday. We're going to do a batch of a pale ale. And we're fermenting it in three different ways because we're using Imperial's Loki. And this is kind of an experimentation for our in-house, but also because this is a recipe we're going to do probably in July for Chub Club members. So we're going to brew this batch, technically two batches, and we're going to put some with the Kvike in pressure fermentation. We're going to put some in just the conical with glycol. And we're going to put some without temperature control at all and no pressure. So the pressure will be without glycol or temperature control. The one with glycol will obviously be temperature control, and then one just out in the warehouse, all willy nilly. Wait
a minute. What? Okay, so there's three different ways we're doing it, but
Correct.
we're only okay.
Correct, and that's why we need to do a 15-gallon batch and a 5-gallon, just so we have enough wort in each fermentation vessel.
But when you ferment it, you're not planning on leaving any of it in the big one.
No, that's the one. And the big one is going to be the temperature controlled variable of this experiment.
And you think we'll have enough?
So we're gonna put like 9 gallons in that one, right? And then we're and then we're gonna put about 6 gallons in the new Anvil Fermenter King that I have. I'm bringing it up, and then that'll be the one under pressure. The CF15 will be the one temperature controlled, and the Spike Flex or a bucket or whatever will be in the warehouse.
Because the Spike Flex could be temperature. It could be pressure too.
Well, we need the valve, exactly. But we're not doing multiple pressure. I'm saying, we could use it for the pressure version of it, Todd.
That's what I meant.
So I don't have to lug up the fermenter. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
that one's pretty big, isn't it?
It is pretty big, but nothing's in it. So it's still in the box. And I figure kill a bunch of birds with one stone. I'm going to film an unboxing video of it too for Anvil.
Whatever you want to do. I don't know why I got involved.
Well, all day Tuesday, we're going to be filming a lot of content around the various vessels that we're going to be using for this experiment and the experiment itself. And then afterwards, we'll do a follow-up episode, all the three of us doing a blind taste test, basically. I'm going to serve you two from the various vessels or KED batches, and you are going to try to see if you can tell the difference. Like this one seems like it was probably temperature controlled, or this, you know what I mean? Like trying to determine if we can even see the difference or notice.
Who's gonna work on Tuesday?
That'd be me.
It might be James. Yeah. Todd, why are you bringing that up right now while we're recording? Why, we don't need that negative energy here.
That's obvious. No worries there.
That's obvious. Somewhat.
Not obvious. I may work and let you guys do it. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, we don't know. We will figure out those details. But yeah,
no, Todd needs to be over there.
Jonathan,
sure.
I told him I'd start the brew day early, so maybe we could be at the boil by the time he got there. And he was like, "No, I don't want to miss out on any of the fun." And I said, "Okay, it'll be a normal brew day. You and Todd will do everything, and I'll pretend like I'm setting up equipment."
You told him to be here at 6, right?
Yeah, that's. I told him we're going to start early. If it's at the barn, it's starting early. I know you. I know you're going to be mashing in. You say 6, you're probably not joking. It'll be like 6:37 a.m. that you'll probably want to mash in.
The last time I brewed, I was done brewing. I hadn't cleaned everything up, but I was done brewing at 10:30.
Yeah,
wow.
I believe you. I absolutely believe you. Let me continue on the small talk before we get into the questions we have, and we have listener feedback as well. Todd is gone next week, right? You won't be on next week's episode. You're going to be in the Valley. For the 4th of July.
I thought we were going to do it on Wednesday.
Oh, I did say that. You will be on next week's episode. You're not going to be here next Thursday, though. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah,
wrong.
I'll leave Thursday. I think I'll leave Thursday. Whatever day is the 30th.
It's a family reunion you're going to, or?
Well, it's a memorial service
For your wife's side. Yeah, so you'll be in the Valley.
For her aunt. So
I already talked about Jonathan coming to brew and film using Kravite. Let me get to the recipe stuff for June. Let me make sure I can put that up on the screen. Boom, there you go. If you're in a recipe receiving tier and it's your month to receive a recipe, if you're a $35 member, you get Bob Toots Cream Ale. This is one of Lorena's recipes. Go to previous episodes if you want to hear the story on it, because Todd reminded me that I don't remember the origin story of this recipe, but I do know it's delicious. We've brewed it a couple times, and it's shipping out with one of the most strongest staples in Imperial's lineup. It's flagship. So if you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, you can learn more about brewing our recipes. Also, $50 gift card is in our drawing this month for members of our Trub Club community. If you join at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, any of the tiers, you are automatically entered in to win. So again, one last time, patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Also, Todd, before we get to the questions or before we get to the listener feedback, you've been doing a lot of customer service lately. You've been helping out with teaser builds, with draft system solutions, and the sales have been great. The customer service reviews have been good. I wanted to share with people, again, like everything else, you can't see it on the screen, but when Todd helps you, I just want y'all to know he goes above and beyond with the blueprinting. What would you call it? This service of yours?
Art is what I would call it. I mean,
James,
as an artist,
you're gonna have to either have him email you the PDF.
I showed it to him earlier. When you're helping customers.
Oh no, hold on, because I messed up. Hold on, I'm gonna have to edit this probably. The talking right now is not going to come through because I didn't add an audio source to your artwork. So hold on one second. Let me go to your artwork. Board. Boom, there we are. Now we're in it. Now we can talk about it. Look at this beautiful artwork. This is the kind of thing you can expect when Todd Burns is helping you complete your order. I
have a pretty good artistic ability. I've been compared to a 5-year-old before.
What on earth? Look at this.
So did you see the name of the file?
Yeah, I named it in the OBS Todd's diagram, but it was something like
draft system for so and so by the world's worst artist.
Yeah. You were not lying. Holy moly. But you know what, though, people can look back at this and understand what you were doing and how it would work.
Yeah, it's kind of, so the whole premise was that he needed a system, but he wanted to be able to do a 5-way and also have air going to another keg in case he wanted a separate pressure, like a low pressure or a high pressure beer, like say, a stout on one end of the spectrum and a Belgium on the other end of the spectrum. And he also wanted to be able to force carbonate, but not spend too much money. So we did a primary regulator with a Y that goes to two lines. One's the secondary bank. The other one's for forced carbonating because you can set it at 40, 45. And then the other two lines, one goes to the 5-way, one goes to another line. So it works good. It's basically the same setup, a little bit different, but pretty much the same setup that I use.
I was just about to ask,
system.
what's the I was going to ask, man, did you just base it off of, well, and let's be clear too, this guy, he found us from the video presentation that we did for HomebrewCon 2020, I believe was the year. That video has driven a ton of traffic to our concierge service of Todd Burns. Like those people are getting some value, my friend. I wouldn't even try to draw it like that. At one point you had software for flows and stuff, didn't you? Did that not?
Yeah. But with the development of my artistic ability, I don't need that anymore, right?
Yeah. That's agree to disagree. Anyways, So like I said, I do have some listener feedback. That means it's time for listener feedback. And it's more like listener question that wasn't appropriate just for the whole show, so it's not really feedback. But our buddy Patrick wrote in and said, "Hi Josh, I've been hearing you guys talk about alt beer on the show and wanted to try it for myself. I live in the New Braunfels area, and the only alt beer I can find is made by Altstadt in Fredericksburg. I like this beer, but on the last episode of the podcast, you said it is not an alt beer. Where can I go in Central Texas to find a proper alt beer?" This is the part of the show where I wish I had the sad trombone playing, because you can't.
Boom, boom.
You can't, Patrick. You can't.
That was definitely a question, dude. That was not listener feedback.
But it was short enough to where we're not going to spend. I can't even drag this question out beyond 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time. That's my
false
wife.
advertising.
But no, I was going to say, I mean, right now I still have some of James's on tap in Central Texas. That's the realest alt you're going to find. You can't come to my pops because we don't have a lot and we need it for the 4th of July party coming up. But James, do you have we get this question sometimes. I just don't know of a commercial example. There's just nobody doing it
that I know of making an alt beer that's an alt. That's a light stout.
We get accused, dude, of being snobs about alt. But again, like Altstadt, beautiful campus. I'm sure they're really nice people. It's just not a Dusseldorf alt, right? It's
right.
It's an amber.
No, it's
a malty amber. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, the last one that we had all three together was in
Louis in San Marcos, the Oyster Bar.
San Marcos, and it tasted like a stout.
It was a stout, and that was from was that Faust, which is out of New Braunfels. These German breweries in Central Texas. It was literally a stout because Todd goes up to the bar. I'm pretty sure you served us the wrong beer because this is look, it's black.
The taste, it tasted like a stout.
Well, that too, right? It would taste like a stout, but it also
had way too much roasted malt, dark roasted malt, and
dark.
It was too dark. Wasn't a copper color.
I think the best commercial alt I've had. What was that one we had in North Carolina at the airport? Meckelberg or somebody write in and correct me. Old Meckelbergs or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
it was. You know which one?
Was really good.
I don't remember.
Yeah. You weren't with me. James and I flew together.
Oh, that's why I don't remember.
Yeah, and at the airport there, we happened to see this brewery have a little sub bar there, and they're copper.
Yeah, Old Mecklenburg
Brewery, and I think it's called Copper. Right, is the name of their alt.
Let's see.
I think it's called Copper.
I've got it pulled up now.
Yeah, it was delicious, Todd. And I remember sitting there going, "Oh man, pretty darn good. That's an alt I could recommend."
Maybe we should have
alt beer.
Copper.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have an alt contest instead of a Kolsch. That would be fun.
Okay.
It would be very challenging for people, I think.
That was one of James's concerns when I brought it up. Like, hey, let's do an alt contest. He was like, "It's tough, man. We're gonna be brutal because you guys will be brutal too. You'll be like, no, too sweet. Nope, this and that." It is a fickle beer, but I
do that with my own beer when I'm tasting it. Nope, too sweet.
You do, absolutely. That's why your beer's finished now. Oh no, your system's too efficient is why your beer's finished at 10:06 or 10.
Hey, I've been doing better. The last beer I brewed, it would have been correct, but Anyway,
It was me. It was me. It was me. I didn't account.
No, but
for
it was 8. It came out at 8. So
that's not bad at all. We should have Old Mecklenburg, a brewer from there, on the show. That's what we should do.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I say that though, Josh. It was fine at 8. What really helped was that I didn't get as much alcohol in the beginning. So okay. I'm starting to dial it down a little bit.
Good. You're using technology and calculators and adjusting for your efficient system. That's what every person who writes in for feedback goes, does Todd know that he can make that happen? Like he does.
Yeah, but I tried. I cut it down and then it still had too much alcohol. I don't know. I didn't cut it down enough, but I cut it down a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we can see it on my screen, but it's actually, I've got it on my screen and it says it's a Dusseldorf alt beer. It's got a really good description on their website.
I'll put that in the show
Charlotte
notes.
Classic.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes. The
4.9, so it's
link.
in the BJCP guidlines, 29 IBUs.
Well, do you remember it, James? I mean, I remember thinking this is really good.
Really good.
Yeah, and so so obviously you're in our position, Patrick, where I don't believe they legally distribute to this part, but maybe you have a friend in North Carolina, and maybe they can help you out with the beer.
And it's available year round, according to the website.
So if you can find a way, it's kind of like how I find a way to get New Glarus, their Kid Kolsch, where New Glarus is even snobbier than most breweries, where they're like, no, only people in Wisconsin can enjoy this. I have friends in Wisconsin, guys, and we do beer trades. Maybe you can find someone in North Carolina, which actually, if you're in North Carolina listening and you can get that copper, hit me up, message me, joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com, or text me at 325-305-6107, appropriate stuff only, and we will consider a beer trade or something, because I would love to have a good commercial version of alt beer in my fridge, because like you said, right now it's just James's alt, and I have enough to brew a 10-gallon batch, which I need to get done because those grains are going on like 3 weeks old.
Yeah, because you got to pass the hat. We've all got kegs, so
that's right. It's my turn. Oh, I got to brew y'all beer. Yeah. So it's either the ingredients I have here are for Kolsch or for alt. Which one would y'all know? I can't mess up a Kolsch. Well, pardon me. I can, but now I have the means of not messing up as much. So,
I distinctly remember you messing one up, but yeah.
Y'all tell me which one y'all want, alt or Kolsch. Y'all think you can think about it.
I will think about it
because I have all the stuff for both. But either way, so with that, listener feedback, Patrick. And by the way, I think
I want an alt. We've talked about alt too. I want an alt.
Okay, okay, good. Oh, and then we could be brutal about my alt. I do actually. That'd be great future content because
I might brew another alt Friday. There
you go. Then we compare ours, and you're gonna make me feel bad about myself.
No,
it's okay.
Yeah, Todd is okay with that. All right, let me move on, Patrick.
Yeah, let's. So we're gonna have. Do we have 4 more questions or 3 more?
We have 3 submitted. You jerk. We have 3 submitted,
but slid that in.
He's such a jerk. But the first one from our buddy Abel, who used the hotline at 325-305-6107. It's kind of 2 questions. So let's hear from our buddy Abel.
Hey guys, my name's Abel. I'm from Bulverde, so not too far from you, Josh. Love the show. Josh, never ever change. You're freaking hilarious. Todd, you're a boomer I could hang out with. And James, I really appreciate your knowledge and wisdom. Anyway, got a couple questions. So I haven't been brewing too long. I've been brewing since July of 2021, so a little under a year. I've done 11 batches and I have messed up 1, but I think it can be saved. So I bottle each and every batch. It is a pain, but it's all I can do for now. Anyway, so I have a batch of Scottish ale that didn't quite carbonate. So I was thinking I can still save it. Now, would it be possible for me to put in those conditioning tablets? If so, about how much sugar should I put in? Am I recarbonating it completely, or am I adding additional carbonation? I assume I'm going to lose a little bit as soon as I open up the bottle. Of course, I'm going to cap it right back. But is there a way I can save it? If not, no big deal. I'll cook with it. I'll make butterbeer, beer batter, whatever. I don't know. I'll find something to do. But help me out. I don't know. Maybe I can save it. It was for my wife, a Scottish ale, and she's Scottish, so I would like to be the hero. Second question will require a little bit of background. So the reason I started brewing is because my dad wanted me to know the process because we actually want to open up a brewery. It's been something that he's been thinking about for 30 years. We're going to take a class at the Siebel to see if his 30-year-old business plan still holds water. But the question for that is, where would you open one? He wants to open a brewery in either San Marcos, New Braunfels, or San Antonio. We're Native American and Hispanic, so of course we're going to use, that's going to be a heavy influence with our recipes and marketing, so keep that in mind. We don't mind opening up a brewery pretty close to somewhere else. In my opinion, there's plenty of room for people doing things the right way. So where would y'all open it? Just looking for some opinions. I'm happy to send y'all some of my brews. I could probably drive some up to you, Josh, and then we could maybe hang out or something. I don't know.
Making new friends.
Anyway, let me know what you think.
Hey.
Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Abel, thank you so much for submitting that question, or again, 2 questions. That he gave us a 2-for-1. Still only got one $25 gift card. But let's start from the first part before I give my opinion as the token Hispanic, because he wanted a Hispanic's opinion on opening up a brewery. So, James, bottling, obviously, ew, gross. Why are we bottling? But if it's undercarbonated, what do you do with bottles? With kegs, we know, but with bottles, I don't know of anything.
I don't know. This may be a Todd question. I don't bottle.
A good point.
I think he's right. I think if you add more sugar to it, that if you have enough yeast that's still alive, you might be able to get more. But you certainly wouldn't want to add a whole thing of sugar, because if the yeast kicks off and it carbonates, you're going to have little bombs. It's going to be, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he mentioned like the little carbonation tabs.
He did. And he actually followed up with it in an email and said that a little bit more context for the first part. My undercarbonated beer, he used 4 small conditioning tablets from Brewer's Best that were labeled medium conditioning. He didn't want to use the high because he thought it would be too much bite like Topo Chico has, or like a Bart's root beer.
How long ago did he bottle it, though? That would be my first question, because I don't know how long, if the yeast is still active or not. I don't know. He could try. I mean, if you put a few more carbonation, like maybe half as many as you've put the first time, and you tried it and you didn't oxidize the beer in the process, maybe, he doesn't have a kegging system. He needs a kegging system.
I knew that was going to be the answer, right? Right now, it's like, we
would be like, oh, yeah, dude, just put another 30 seconds, a minute of carbonation on it, and it's fixed.
Yeah, that's it. Boom. He did say he just can't right now, but...
they're saying 5 tablets per 12-ounce bottle is high carbonation. Low carbonation is 3. I'm assuming he's probably put 3 in each bottle. So Todd, that's what I would do.
4. It was 4.
He said 4.
Yeah, 4.
I'd probably add two or 3 more, maybe 2.
2.
I have made the mistake in bottling many times where I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to pour this bag of sugar in there and carbonate it, and then I guess at some point I remember, I didn't actually end up with 5 gallons of wort, so I just overcarbonated the crap out of my beer. So I'm very always worried. I have overcarbonated a lot more beers that I've bottled than I've properly carbonated, and I've never undercarbonated one. So I understand. I would have done the same thing. If it said it was highly carbonated at 5, I probably would have put 4 in there too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not right though. Maybe it is 5. Maybe it's 6. Who knows?
It says 2 weeks to fully carbonate, so maybe it just needs a little more time.
I bet it. Do you think it still would have active? I bet it still had. I would try it. I don't. What is there to lose? The worst fear I would have, it would be
bottle bombs.
It would be bottle bombs, but I don't think he's going to get that if he puts a couple in there. Okay. The worst fear I would have is oxidizing the beer by opening it up and messing with it. So what I would do is I would open each beer, throw them in there, and cap it right away again, so that a little bit of CO2 is coming out.
My friend, my boss, this is where we differ. You said worst fear for this was oxidized beer, not bottle bombs.
Bottle bombs. You can pour a bottle bomb in a. Well, if it doesn't blow up. If you overcarbonate it, you can pour it in a glass and drink it eventually.
Yeah, because you're flirting with disaster, man. I think 2 more tablets is like the most I would add. But what you're saying, Todd, is
2. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I thought you were suggesting another 3 or 4.
No. I said 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard James
If
say
you
2.
rewind, I'm pretty sure I said 2. Now we're going to get 100 calls that I said.
Yeah. You said 3 or 4. Yeah. Todd said, just do it till it blows, man. Then do one less than that.
Yeah, 2. I agree with that. 2,
I mean,
and
but
give it a
again,
try.
so assuming there's no bottle
worst
bombs.
case scenario, I don't think 2 of those is going to oversweeten the beer.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is a worst case, a realistic worst case, because he's probably not going to make bottle bombs, is that he's going to oxidize the beer. That's like, and he would know pretty immediately, right? That nice cardboard taste.
Yeah, I think if he pulls the caps off all of them and lays them out and starts putting them in there, then he would may have a problem. I think if he does one at a time, he might be
absolutely.
all right.
That's how
one at a time,
like
and don't throw it into the bottle. Just gently slide it off to the side on the inside and let it slide into
turn the bottle like that and let it.
Or make your wife drink all of those so she'll let you get a kegging system, right?
Yeah, we need more content, Abel.
She'll insist that you get a kegging system if she has to drink.
Abel, have her call Todd, and you'll have a keg kit by the end of that phone call.
Absolutely,
he will have convinced her. Man, he is the closer. What is ABC? Always be closing. That's Todd Burns. He is always be closing. It is incredible watching him on the phone. So yeah, we're joking, but we're not really joking. The ultimate solution is quit bottling, dude. But the second one is I think we're all in agreement. 2 tablets tops, and at the risk of oxidation, but you're trying to save the Scottish ale for the sake of your wife. Now, Todd, tell me this, because James, you're the king of styles. Whichever one of y'all want to answer this, is Scottish ale one that can be a little undercarb because of the style?
That's kind of what I was thinking. It could be under like a low carbonated, like a cask ale.
That's how I would present it, because I'm so lazy. I wouldn't try to fix I wouldn't try to fix.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be at a lower carbonation level.
Yeah. It's a Scottish ale. You wouldn't know. You probably drink Bud Light.
I think you should get him to bring you one and try it, because I don't know that it's as undercarb. He's acting like it's so undercarb that he can't drink it. I bet my buddy Josh would drink it.
Oh, shoot. When I sent you the breakfast stout, it was severely undercarb on purpose, because I knew you're very persnickety about how you like carbonation. But I drank it at that carbonation level I sent it to you at, and I was like, oh, this is still pretty freaking good. Like, I could still enjoy it like this, even though it is.
That's a good style for being undercarbonated too.
It is. When I think Scotch ale, Scottish,
undercarbonated.
I think a Scottish ale would probably be in that same realm, right? And am I mixing up styles? Is Scottish ale not the same as Scotch ale? Am I?
Yeah,
they're showing
they're real
Scottish light, Scottish heavy.
Yeah,
like a wee heavy, right?
Usually when I buy a Scottish ale, I buy a beer in the store and it says Scottish or Scotch ale on it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of alcohol in it.
Yeah. That's my understanding too, but I'm an idiot. So that's why I asked, because I didn't know. I might be conflating things that I shouldn't be. It might not be a Scotch ale. It might be a light Scottish ale. And then he's like, no, it needs proper carbonation, guys. You're not helping me at all. While James
does say that the draft is mildly carbonated.
Oh, so low is the style.
On the draft, it said bottled versions may have higher CO2, but typical, it's mildly carbonated draft.
Well,
we wasted a lot of time on this question. Just drink it. Yeah, that's the answer.
Well, and just real quick to wrap up that part of it, on mildly, you'd say like 6 to 8 psi is what you would call mild.
Well,
I would say 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the equivalent volume of 8 psi.
The equivalent volume
is what I would. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And then the second part, we could be super quick with this. Opening up a brewery, I've always, when we asked our friends in the industry and all that, their first piece of advice is don't do it. I don't know why. They almost shouted at us. I have pitched my idea of a Kolsch and alt brewery so much, and people are like, it's not going to fly, and just don't do it. You're an idiot unless you have a ton of capital because you won the lottery or something. But without crushing Abel's dreams, because it's about 30 years. That's a heck of a long time to be planning this out and dreaming about it. So I want to support it. Todd, between those 3 areas he was saying, I would think San Marcos, I'm predicting right now, San Marcos in 10 years is going to be the new Central Texas hotspot. Like, Austin can only keep going south. Buda and Kyle are just bedroom communities. Where I'm at here in San Marcos, it's hopping, man. I think starting a brewery here could only be good because you've got a good chunk of demographics of people who go out to drink. There's still reasonably affordable real estate in the area, and people
is there such a thing in that area
versus Austin 100%.
I was gonna say whatever, dude.
Versus New Braunfels
not
too.
affordable.
New Braunfels is way more expensive than San Marcos, residentially speaking. I have no idea about commercial property. You would know more, Todd. But you know, let's assume it's not me asking you for money to open up a Kolsch and alt beer place. What city in Central Texas are you recommending?
So my first question, and I don't know if he said this and I didn't catch it. I know he lives in Bulverde. I don't know where his dad lives, but Bulverde is a very robust, growing area. I mean, it's like night and day from when I lived in San Marcos area. I mean, why not make it a local brewery and open it in Bulverde? I mean, that's where I would look first.
It doesn't matter where it's at. If it's good beer, people will make the trek to there to buy it.
And there's probably not any breweries there, and it would maybe there are, but
it could be like the real ale of 25 years ago, where it's like Blanco had nothing going on brewery wise.
Yeah, but I mean that's not a great comparison because Blanco's a pretty long ways from everywhere. Bulverde is really close to San Marcos. It's really close to New Braunfels. It's really close to San Antonio. I think it seems like it'd be a good place for a brew pub to me.
Yeah. Well, and and in his email, he did clarify they just want to do a brewery, not a brew pub.
Oh, okay.
Just a brewery, which my idea was have my mom make tacos and I'd have Kolsch and alt. It'd be both sides of me, German and Mexican, making one kind of thing. And Abel, I won't give all my good ideas out on the air, but if you want an idea guy, follow me on Instagram. I'm an idea guy, my friend. I could come up with some great names, I promise you, and mostly unoffensive. We'll figure it out. But Abel, thank you so much for submitting the voicemail. A reminder before we go on, if and when you leave us a voicemail to 325-305-6107, you get a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Oh, go ahead, Todd.
Well, they already know that. So I may have offended him and when we were getting away from the second question when I said that was a waste of our time.
Oh,
I did not in any way, shape, or form mean that the question.
No, he didn't.
But I just say that we went around and around and around forever. And the original, the first answer should have just been drink the beer.
Yeah, he's talking about the first part. Yeah. I like that, Todd. You caught yourself. That never happens. Oh, my gosh. It's never happened, but I know if he would have thought about it afterwards, he'd go, hey, I think he would have called me afterwards. I think I might have come across rude. Edit that out. And then I'd have to work. And it would be terrible. So thanks for...
He wouldn't do it anyway.
And I wouldn't have done it anyway. I would have not. Yeah. So thank you so much again for submitting the question. Moving on to question number 2 was an email submitted by our friend Nico J to homebrewhappyhour.com. Nico wrote, awesome podcast, guys. I could listen to Todd and James share useful information all day. He didn't mention me at all.
Yeah, but the last guy said you were really funny.
He said, don't change. Yeah. Went from one high to a low. Nico is fine. He is only getting a $15 gift card for this question anyway. As an extract brewer, the podcast has helped me tremendously. I make 5-gallon batches in a 20-quart pot. It works great. However, I am concerned that it isn't going to be a big enough pot when I step up to all grain brewing. How much headspace should a pot have if you're brewing 5-gallon all grain batches? There's so many different ways to brew it. I mean, if he's not doing full volume, a 20-quart will still work for all grain, won't it, James?
I do 6-7 gallons if I'm doing a all grain batch,
just to be safe, right? I mean, like having that for the boil.
People doing all grain, they're going to do a batch sparge,
right? And boil at volume, basically.
Yeah. If you're good at building stuff, you could actually build something that you could sparge that's lower volume. But you also have to think about gravity brews, and you'd be limited to a certain amount of grains, and then you got space in the kettle. I would go 7 minimum. Wouldn't you, Todd?
I'm not one to talk. I laughed as soon as the question was given because I thought about my last brew day when I had before my bowl started. It was, if you breathed on it, it went over the top of the bowl kettle. So Yeah, I'm kind of bad about that. In fact, I actually had to take a little bit out and put it aside and put it back in later in the boil. So I pushed the envelope on that a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I would think 7 though. 7 maybe pushing it. I mean, yeah.
Todd, do you have access to the World Wide Web at your fingertips right now? I can't because my computer's occupied.
Yes, I do.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, go to ketconnection.com. I took this question kind of selfishly, but it's a great time to promote one of the best kettles that you can get for this exact situation. If you go on ketconnection.com, I don't remember the SKU at all. I should know that. The only kettle,
the 30 quart?
Yes, the 7.5 gallon kettle right now is on sale for $39.95 through this weekend only. That's Nico.
Yeah.
Nico,
see, that would work.
That's what I would say is going to future-proof you, and you won't have issues. You won't. Todd, I think, had photos from his last brew day. If I can find them in our text thread, I'll try to put one in the notes.
Wow,
you don't want to. You don't want to push the envelope unless you have patience. And like Todd said, he had to skim off the top and put it to the side. No, get the 7.5, and then you're not going to have to
money.
With that.
Hold on, are we making money on that?
I'm not good at math. All I know.
Well, you know what? Another thing to consider too is how they're going to mash. So I guess I was thinking mash volume for one kettle and boil volume for another, because we do a Herms with the 3 vessel. But if you have like a 10-gallon cooler brew system, then you would want to have enough wort. I would say at least 6 gallons of wort to boil, because you're going to evaporate a lot of that off.
Yep.
So you definitely want to do big.
Yeah.
So that's 7.5 gallons would be ideal.
And that one is stainless steel. It'll last you as long as you take care of it. It really is a heck of a deal. We've pushed a ton of them. I think since you got them in, Todd, they when we do these sales on them, they typically fly off the shelf pretty quick. And they do qualify for $9.95 shipping, so it doesn't really get much better than that. Nito didn't say where he's at, but shipping those things, I can guarantee you, we might not be making money, Todd, because I forgot to equate what shipping is going to cost you. So enjoy it while
$20 something dollars. Yeah.
So enjoy the deal. Well, and then I'm gonna have to send an email like, "Oh, I was just kidding. Todd said it has to end Friday night." No, if you're listening to this right now and I didn't edit it out, you go to Tech Connection, go pick you up a kettle. It is limit 1 per order, though. I do know that, just because it is a stupid deal compared to other stainless steel kettles in that volume. I dare you. But I did bring this question up just because it was good timing. Nico emailed this to me on Monday, and I was like, you know what? We put those kettles on sale at the end of last week. Didn't bring it up on the show. They sold pretty well over the weekend, and I thought be a great time, because this is the scenario. We actually have someone in our Chub Club who did get this, and they're experimenting with it as a fermentation vessel too. Like, people are getting creative, because if a $40 kettle, that's for a stainless steel 7.5 gallon stainless steel kettle, $40 is dirt cheap. And
we haven't used our TIG welder hardly at all. Maybe we could weld the top to it and make a fermenter out of it.
I don't know if that's what the guy was doing.
But do that, and then we could also put a lid, like a corny keg lid on it.
Yeah. I could use my plasma cutter for that. We're going to, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if we have one in the brew room or not, but I'd rather sell them than you experiment on them, Todd. Let's get those things sold. Which is another time to remind you, guys, my annual bonus is coming up. Go to Kettle. No, I'm kidding. There's no annual bonus with Todd Burns. So yeah, Nico, this is a great time. It was good timing for you to submit that question, because this kettle, I'll have the link in the show notes if y'all are interested in listening, but that is probably, if you're going to go to All Grain Brewing, having Headspace. Now, is there a definite answer to that? Like, is there an equation, guys, where, you're brewing, if you're going to brew full volume at 5 gallons, you want that 1.5 gallon headspace because of, the boil overs to prevent that.
Yeah, you want to have enough room, because also remember that when you boil that liquid, the liquid expands. So you've got to have enough extra room there. You don't want to push like we do and go all the way to the top of the kettle just to increase our yield. But
one thing, you can play around with it too. So James and I do it all the time. You can boil, you can have a little less, but have a lot of grain in there, and then bring it up to the full level at the end of the boil by, adding some water that is not going to contaminate anything. We do that quite frequently, right, James?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Keep in mind, we've got 3 20-gallon pots, and we've got our HLT with the cooling coil. It's recirculating through the mash tun with a false bottom. So, like for instance, if we wanted to do a really big beer, like 8-9%, that gets rid of some of the volume or the space that we have in the mash tun. It's also going to increase the grain to water ratio, so it's going to be a little thicker. So, we have the ability to, as long as we don't have a stuck mash, that we can continue to mash, move some of that into the boil kettle, continue, add more water because we have water from the HLT that we can transfer into the mash tun, and just continue. Think of it as an extended sparge, and we can continue to mash, and then we can brew bigger beers that way without compromising kettle space. The only thing that we have to worry about is it's going to circulate, because that water to grain ratio goes down, and that risks a stuck sparge, which nobody likes. A stuck mash, I should say.
Yeah.
Both.
That's a good point.
We always, I think it's just human nature. I brew, supposedly 15-gallon, but I always brew 17 and a half gallon. And half the time I go to 18.25. I'm sure if I had a 60-gallon kettles to brew 50 gallons, I'd be like, I think I can get 58.5 out of this.
You would. Yeah. You would. So that was the long answer to my question of the 7.5 is going to be plenty of headspace if he goes in with the 6 gallons of wort into boil.
Right.
Yeah. It should be plenty fine.
Yeah,
so
plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty.
So
he's got room left. Get a little more in there.
Nico, thank you.
You can do 7 gallons.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I was just saying 7.25. You could do it. Nico, thank you so much for submitting that question. Again, go to the show notes here. Go to ketconnection.com. Go to brewing equipment and kettles. It'll be right there. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, just go to the show notes below. Click on that. And while you're there, leave us some feedback, comments, thumbs up. What do YouTubers say? Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more entertaining news or whatever. Thanks for submitting the question. Moving on to our third and final question, came from the submission form at homebrewhappyhour.com from our buddy Jennifer, and she wrote, I have a question about CO2 taints and recertification. I have 2 taints whose manufacturing dates are 9/12 and 6/10. Both of these taints I swapped out from a beer supply store. Where do you find the recertification date on a cylinder? Is it stuck on with some kind of sticker or is it etched in? I'm having a hard time finding the answer to this online. Thank you for your help, Jen. What hurt my feelings, Todd, is if our SEO on that article you did must not be performing well if she didn't find the answer. Because you actually did.
Because we have that. We have it nailed down. Yeah.
You did I think you might have done a video on it too.
Where is that?
Homebrew,
I'll be able to
go to homebrewhappyhour.com and maybe type in CO2 cylinder. Maybe it's because I used the word cylinder in all the stuff and not tank. What is the common vernacular, y'all think? What should I?
Well, I think it's technically called a CO2 cylinder, but I think a lot of people say tank.
So
yeah.
Well, while I'll look it up, one of the things I've found lately is that Todd, of all the things safety wise, I accuse him of not taking serious. Tank recertification is one of the ones he's been taking very serious. My thing was out, I don't actually know, it was like a year or two, and he refused to fill it. Todd wouldn't.
No, but I did say you could fill it.
You did. But you knew what I was going to do when you said that.
I knew exactly if I told you. I'm afraid it's going to blow up and kill me, but you're welcome to fill it yourself. I mean, you won't even do 2 PSI on a glass carboy. You're not going to do a 1,500 PSI cylinder.
All right. So from March 13th of 2019 or May 13th of 2019, the article is called CO2 stamps, what they are and what they mean. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. I forgot.
I searched on the site on Homebrew Happy Hour. I typed in CO2 cylinder and it doesn't come up.
So you're right.
I don't know what kind of search crap this is.
You're right. Well, the title is CO2 stamps. I need to put those words cylinder and tank in the title to make them more.
I found it when I put in stamp.
Yeah. Well, it was the name of your article. You named it this. I just copy and pasted, my friend. But if you go there, he numbers it from 1 through 9, what every stamp on your cylinder is going to mean. And of this article, according to Todd, the manufacturing date stuff is number 4. So like in this case, 11A16, the 11 represents the month of manufacture, November, and the 16 represents the year of manufacture, 2016.
And sometimes the A in the middle looks different, but let me grab a cylinder. Y'all can make small talk, and I'll.
Yeah. The small talk will be, Josh, why are you an idiot and don't have proper titling on your articles? And also, oh, this is so embarrassing. He's gone. The featured product in this is a steel cylinder we don't even carry anymore. Oh,
is it?
Yeah. It's been 3 years since this article came out, and I haven't updated it. Oh, I'm glad he can't hear me. Okay, he's back. Whoa, he got the biggest tank he could find. What the heck?
I got a big cylinder. This isn't actually CO2, but it's the same.
That's nitrogen, isn't it?
Yeah. So on this one, I've noticed this a lot since I wrote this article. Sometimes it has like a couple of little small letters in between too that aren't actually, I don't think they're an A, but it's the same thing. It'll have the month and the year and then something in between. I've noticed there's some variance in what's in between.
So the importance of this, if you're in a swap program, which Jennifer didn't say she's in a swap program necessarily as much as I swapped them out from a beer supply store. So I'm assuming she's in a swap program. They're not like the dates on it. Would you feel comfortable, Todd, if someone gave you a full cylinder, but you happen to notice, oh my God, this store gave me a cylinder that's 3 years out of date?
Well, I wouldn't accept it. I would say, look, guys, I'm not taking an out of date cylinder.
Okay, because the risk isn't worth it.
Yeah, that's why most of the swap programs you pay a rental fee on the cylinder. So
allegedly for the guarantee that you're getting a certified tank, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
So the pro.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would not accept one. I would say no. I'm not accepting this.
Okay. So to answer your question real quick, Jennifer, go in the show notes and click on the article title, and you'll see everything you could ever want to know about CO2 stamps on cylinders and or tanks, and learn everything there. But pros and cons real quick, Todd. I know we have a privileged perspective to where you fill up-to-date certified tanks there at our headquarters. Are you adverse to joining a swap program? Is there a reason why a person shouldn't join a swap program? And
it really depends on what area you're in. So you'll have some areas where it's not that hard to find a place to fill cylinders, and you'll live in some areas where nobody fills cylinders. All you could do is swap. In fact, that's the area we live in if it wasn't for wonderful Keg Connection.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
if I tried to go to, say, Brownwood, which is the biggest city close to us, and I said, I want to have my cylinder filled, nobody fills it there.
Yeah.
So you'd have to swap.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, if you had the choice.
No, I don't, because I fill my own cylinders.
No, but I'm saying if you were Joe Blow, not Todd Burns, not the esteemed Todd Burns, but and you had the option, I'm saying, would you always pick to own it and fill it yourself if you had the choice to do either?
Well, in the past, and this, I don't know what this is now. In the past, it used to be less expensive, and you got to keep your nice new cylinder and all of that. I mean, it really depends on your situation. There's nothing wrong with swapping it. In fact, there's probably some advantages, to swapping it. Like particularly when you get to the end of your hydro date, if they don't mind, you could swap it and get one. If your cylinder hasn't run out yet, you can still swap it. Then that makes sense. But it's kind of hard. It would be hard for me to get a brand new cylinder and then swap it.
Yeah, I did that years ago, like 1998. I bought a new cylinder, went down to the gas company here in Comanche, and when I would go run out, they would just give me another one. It was always in date, and I never had to worry about that.
One other advantage of buying a new one in some areas, once again, is in some areas they will only rent you a cylinder if you don't have one. And in other areas, they will sell you one, but they sell it at a much higher rate, even though it's a used one that you're swapping out. So I've had customers that said, no, I'm just going to swap. I'm not going to buy a new cylinder. And then they come back and go, crap, I went to the local place and they charge $90 if you don't have a cylinder.
Yeah.
And I could buy a brand new one. And I don't care if they swap it out because I save money, So.
Exactly. I've seen
$90. That was years ago. Cause now that'd probably be $130 because the cylinders have gone through the roof.
Oh, they've gone through the roof. Well, you read my mind. I was about to segue to it probably depends on what the rental is now because cylinders have just gone through the roof. A swap program, the benefits I can think of, like James said, is they're in date always. What does it cost to recertify a tank? Like $30, $40?
It's incredible how much it is. I just had a bunch recertified, and it was a no, I had them filled. I'm sorry, but I called about having them recertified, and I thought it was going to be like $10, and it was like $30-something
per tank, per cylinder.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. In fact, we have a place that we use, and that's all the way across the country. And I called and talked to them. It would be cheaper for me to ship all my cylinders there and have them recertified than to do it locally.
You're kidding
even with
me.
the shipping both ways.
Yeah, on a pallet, right?
On a pallet.
On a pallet on a freight truck, it'd be cheaper.
Well, if you remember, we did that before, but Todd had actually had a keg order, so we were able to bring those back.
I do remember that.
Full.
Yeah, full.
That's in Minneapolis.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, Minneapolis for the trucker, it's a straight shot, right? Like,
sure.
But I don't know if that had anything to do with
you get on I-35 and go all the way to Minneapolis.
And you exit whatever exit it is because it's on 35. Because remember, I was still deathly afraid of flying when we went to that homebrew con, and your resolution was just to put me on a bunch of flights week after week or month after month to get me over my fear. Because I said, I'll just drive, Todd. I can't mess this up. I would drive from here straight up 35 and exit. You're like, no, you're flying, buddy. You're flying. And get
it's
over
like
it.
it's like, I don't know. It's forever. Yeah. It's crazy.
It was like a 26-hour drive, I think, when it was like a 3-hour flight. But yeah, anyways, Jennifer. So yeah, in the show notes, the best way, like I said, instead of reading the whole article or whatever, because it is short enough and I don't see a video in here. So it was just a text article, but it's easy enough to understand. Go to the show notes here or go to homebrewhappyhour.com. In the search bar, CO2 stamp, and you'll find it. I need to add the words tank and cylinder into that title probably.
I'm glad that you brought up people going to this article, because I noticed that there's an ad
James,
in the article
he found it.
for a cylinder that's made in the USA. That's metal, that is going to a 404 air link, and it's a a cylinder we haven't carried in years.
Wait, are you calling out the fact that I didn't update the article? Because when you were gone, James, what did I say? I said, "Oh no, there's I said, "Oh no, he's not here, so I could talk about this." But the featured product, something we don't even carry anymore. But when this goes to publish, it'll be up to date, and people will go, "Why was Todd giving him such a hard time? What a jerk!" The link works for me.
James, would you like to care to place a $5 bet by the time this publishes?
No, don't do it, James. Don't do it.
No.
Anyways,
yeah, that's. I've learned not to bet, Todd.
It would be worth the $5 for you to force him to do it before you release the show.
Before he whoop my ass next time he sees me. Anyways, thank you, Jennifer, for submitting that question. Gentlemen, that's all I have for this week. I appreciate y'all's time. I know it's super busy up there. Todd's drawing diagrams and making bid sales, so I'll let y'all get back to work. And I'm going to be there all next week, so I'll see you guys on Monday.
All right. Bye.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you would like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com, click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or now be Todd's best friend and leave us a voicemail at 325-305-6107. Brew better beer with the new Grainfather G40 all-in-one electric system, available now at grainfather.com. Also, get a free pack of Imperial yeast along with premium recipes from us when you join our Chub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.